My precious child, before we begin this life-changing journey together, I want you to know that every single word you are about to hear has been written with divine love and intention. Each syllable carries the weight of my heart for you. Each phrase pulses with the rhythm of eternity itself. Each breath between sentences carries the urgency of heaven. Please, beloved one, do not let distractions pull you away from this sacred moment. Turn off every device that could interrupt us. Silence the noise of the world around you. Quiet your racing thoughts and open your spiritual ears. What I'm about to reveal to you will shatter every illusion of invisibility you have been living under. But it will be the most liberating awakening you have ever experienced. I ask you to subscribe to this channel and return daily, for my messages to you are like morning light, fresh each dawn, necessary for your soul's illumination. Come back tomorrow and the day after, and every day that follows, for I have words of awakening to speak over your slumbering spirit. Stay with me until the very end. Every word carries eternal weight. Every pause holds divine purpose. Every silence speaks volumes about the reality you have been sleeping through. For today, I speak to your spirit with holy urgency, with divine alarm, with loving concern. You're being watched. Wake up. Do not let these words frighten you into paralysis, precious one. Let them awaken you into purpose. For too long you have been living as if your life is private, as if your choices are invisible, as if your potential is unnoticed. But I tell you the truth that will change everything. Eyes are upon you, expectations surround you, and your awakening will impact far more lives than you could ever imagine. My beloved child, I see you there, moving through your days as if you are invisible, making choices as if no one is watching, living as if your life carries no greater significance than the mundane routine you have settled into. But I must awaken you to a reality that will transform everything. You are being watched by heaven, observed by angels, noticed by principalities, and your life is far more significant than you have dared to believe. You're being watched. Wake up. Not to live in paranoia or fear, but to live with the profound awareness that your existence matters deeply in the cosmic battle between light and darkness. You are not just another face in the crowd of humanity. You are a strategic player in the greatest story ever told, a crucial piece in the divine puzzle of redemption. I am not speaking to frighten you with surveillance, precious one. I am speaking to awaken you to significance. For too long you have moved through life as if you are unnoticed, unimportant, unobserved. You have made decisions as if they only affect you, spoken words as if only earthly ears are listening, acted as if only human eyes are seeing. But beloved child, you live in a realm where every breath is sacred, every heartbeat is monitored, every thought is known, every intention is observed. This is not a burden to bear, and it is an honor to embrace. You are being watched because you matter. You are being observed because you have been chosen. You are being noticed because you carry something the world desperately needs. The spiritual realm is alive with activity around your life. Angels assigned to your destiny are watching your every move, waiting for signs of awakening. Demonic forces opposing your purpose are studying your patterns, looking for moments of vulnerability. The great cloud of witnesses who have gone before you are cheering for your breakthrough, anticipating your rise to purpose. You're being watched. Wake up, because the time of sleepwalking through life is over. The season of living unconsciously is finished. The days of assuming you are insignificant are ended. You have been marked for greatness, tagged for influence, selected for impact that will ripple through generations. I have been watching you longer than you realize, beloved child. I watched you before you were born, knitting you together in your mother's womb with careful attention to every detail. I watched you take your first breath, speak your first word, take your first step. I have been watching through every triumph and every trial, every joy and every sorrow, every victory and every defeat. My eyes have never left you. Not for a moment. While you thought you were wandering aimlessly, I was watching you navigate toward your destiny. While you felt lost and alone, I was watching you learn lessons you would need for your assignment. While you believed your struggles were meaningless, I was watching you develop the strength necessary for your calling. But precious one, my watching is not passive observation. It is active participation in your development. I watch like a loving father who delights in every small progress his child makes. I watch like a careful gardener who tends every growth in his precious plant. I watch like a master artist who oversees every brushstroke on his masterpiece. The enemy has convinced you that you are invisible, that your choices don't matter, that your life has no greater purpose than survival and comfort. But I tell you the truth, you are highly visible in the spiritual realm, intensely important in the cosmic battle, incredibly valuable in the kingdom of heaven. You're being watched. Wake up. Because those who are watching are waiting for you to realize who you really are. They are waiting for you to step into the awareness of your identity, your calling, your destiny. They are waiting for you to stop living like you are ordinary when you are extraordinary, like you are common when you are chosen, like you are powerless when you carry the power of heaven within you. Every morning when you wake up, you enter a day filled with divine appointments you may not recognize. Every interaction you have carries the potential for eternal impact. Every word you speak can release life or death into someone's future. Every decision you make sends ripples through the spiritual realm that affect outcomes you cannot see. The watchers in heaven are calling for your awakening. The principalities of darkness are hoping for your continued slumber. The choice between consciousness and unconsciousness, between awakening and sleeping, between significance and mediocrity, is yours to make. But know this, beloved child, you were never created to live an invisible life. You were designed to shine like a star in the darkness, to burn like a light on a hill, to awaken like the dawn that dispels the night. The eyes that are upon you are not watching in judgment. They are watching in anticipation of your magnificent awakening. You're being watched. Wake up. Wake up to your identity as my beloved child. Wake up to your calling as my chosen vessel. Wake up to your destiny as my powerful representative in the earth. Wake up to the reality that your life is a sacred trust, a divine opportunity, a holy responsibility to reflect my glory in a world that desperately needs to see my light. My dear child, my presence in your life is not distant or detached. It is intimately observant, carefully attentive, lovingly watchful. I am not the God who created you and then stepped back to watch from afar. I am the God who draws near, who stays close, who observes every detail of your journey with the tender care of a devoted father. You're being watched. Wake up to the reality that my eyes are constantly upon you, not with the cold surveillance of a distant deity, but with the warm attention of a loving Papa who delights in every moment of your existence. My observation of your life is not motivated by suspicion, but by affection. Not by judgment, but by joy in watching you grow. Feel my presence with you in this very moment, precious one. Do you sense my nearness? Do you feel my attention focused completely on you right now? This is not your imagination. This is the reality of my constant watchfulness over your life. While the world rushes past in chaotic motion, my gaze remains steady and sure upon you. I see things about you that you cannot see about yourself. I observe potential in you that remains hidden from your own perception. I watch dreams stirring in your spirit that you have not yet acknowledged. I notice gifts developing in your character that you have not yet recognized. I see the person you are becoming while you are still focused on the person you have been. My watching is not passive. It is powerfully participatory. I do not simply observe your struggles. I enter into them with you. I do not merely watch your victories. I celebrate them with you. I do not just see your pain. I feel it with you. My observation is accompanied by my involvement, my attention coupled with my action. You're being watched. Wake up. Because my watching changes everything about your circumstances, even when you are unaware of my involvement. While you sleep in unconsciousness, I am actively working behind the scenes of your life. While you move through your days unaware, I am orchestrating events, arranging encounters, preparing opportunities. Like a master conductor watching every musician in the orchestra, I observe every note you play in the symphony of your life. I see when you are in rhythm with my plan, and when you are out of sync with my timing. I notice when you are playing your part with passion, and when you are performing with mere duty. I watch for moments when you are ready for new music, new movements, new crescendos in your spiritual development. My presence brings heightened awareness to those who recognize it. When you truly understand that I am watching, you begin to live differently. Your choices become more intentional. Your words become more carefully chosen. Your actions become more purposeful. You start to live like someone who knows they are being observed by one who loves them unconditionally. But, beloved child, my watching is not meant to make you self-conscious in fear. It is meant to make you God-conscious in faith. I am not watching to catch you in mistakes. I am watching to catch you in moments of breakthrough. I am not observing to criticize your failures. I am observing to celebrate your progress. You're being watched. Wake up to the profound privilege of living under the loving gaze of the Creator of the universe, to the incredible honor of having the attention of the one who holds galaxies in his hands, to the amazing reality that out of billions of people on Earth, my eyes are focused on you with complete attention in this moment. My observation brings protection to your path. Because I am watching, I can warn you of dangers ahead. Because I am observing, I can redirect your steps away from traps. Because I am attentive, I can provide shelter in storms, wisdom in confusion, strength in weakness, hope in despair. The enemy wants you to remain unconscious of my watchful presence because he knows that awareness of my observation changes everything. When you truly understand that I am watching, you begin to live with holy confidence instead of insecurity, with divine purpose instead of aimlessness, with supernatural strength instead of human limitation. Feel my eyes upon you now, precious one. Eyes of love, not condemnation. Eyes of hope, not disappointment. Eyes of expectation, not resignation. I am watching because I believe in you. I am observing because I have invested in you. I am paying attention because you are about to surprise yourself with what you are capable of accomplishing. You're being watched. Wake up. Wake up to my constant presence, my unwavering attention, my unfailing interest in every detail of your life. Wake up to the reality that you never walk alone, never face challenges unobserved, never celebrate victories unnoticed. Wake up to the truth that my eyes upon you are always eyes of love. Beloved child, I see the wounds that have made you want to hide from watching eyes. I see the scars that have convinced you that being observed means being judged. I see the broken places in your heart that whisper, if anyone really saw who I am, they would reject me. If anyone really knew my failures, they would abandon me. If anyone really understood my struggles, they would lose faith in me. But precious one, I have been watching all along, and my love for you has only grown deeper. I have been observing your struggles, and my compassion for you has only increased. I have been seeing your failures, and my grace toward you has only multiplied. I watch not to condemn but to heal, not to expose but to restore, not to shame but to transform. You're being watched. Wake up to the healing power of being truly seen and still completely loved, to the transformative reality of being fully known and still totally accepted, to the liberating truth that my eyes upon you bring healing, not harm, restoration, not rejection, wholeness, not shame. The wounds in your heart were created in moments when you felt exposed and vulnerable, seen and rejected, observed and found wanting. Someone important to you saw your imperfections and responded with disappointment. Someone you trusted witnessed your weakness and responded with withdrawal. Someone you loved observed your humanity and responded with harshness. But I am not someone. I am your creator, your father, your healer. My eyes see everything about you, and my response is always love. My gaze penetrates to the deepest places of your heart, and my reaction is always grace. My observation reaches into the most hidden areas of your life, and my answer is always mercy. I have been watching the pain you carry from being misunderstood. I have been observing the fear you hold from being misjudged. I have been seeing the shame you bear from being criticized. And beloved child, I am here to heal every wounded place with the medicine of my perfect love. You're being watched. Wake up. But not to hide in shame, to emerge in freedom. Not to cover your imperfections, to celebrate your transformation. Not to fear exposure, to embrace authentic living. My watching is the watching of a skilled surgeon who sees exactly where healing is needed and knows precisely how to bring restoration. Feel my healing light penetrating every damaged memory, every fearful thought, every shame-filled imagination. I am not just watching your wounds, I am healing them with my presence. I am not just observing your pain, I am absorbing it into my love. I am not just seeing your brokenness, I am restoring you to wholeness. The very areas where you feel most vulnerable to observation are the areas where my healing power wants to work most powerfully. The places you most want to hide are the places I most want to heal. The wounds you least want observed are the wounds I most want to touch with my transforming grace. I have been watching you build walls to protect yourself from being seen. I have been observing you create masks to hide your authentic self. I have been seeing you develop strategies to avoid the vulnerability of being truly known. But precious one, these defenses that once protected you now prevent you from receiving the love and acceptance you desperately desire. You're being watched. Wake up. To the truth that healing comes not through hiding but through being seen by the right eyes. Not through concealment but through revelation to the one who loves you unconditionally. Not through protection but through the vulnerability of trusting my perfect love. Let down your guard, beloved child. Remove your masks. Lower your walls. Allow my loving gaze to reach into every corner of your heart, every hidden place of pain, every secret room of shame. I am not watching to wound you further. I am watching to heal what has been wounded. I am not observing to break you more. I am observing to restore what has been broken. The enemy has convinced you that being watched means being in danger, that being observed means being in jeopardy, that being seen means being vulnerable to attack. But I tell you the truth. Being watched by me means being protected. Being observed by me means being loved. Being seen by me means being healed. Every tear you have cried in private, I have seen and collected. Every prayer you have whispered in desperation, I have heard and answered. Every moment you have felt alone and unseen, I have been there watching over you with tenderness that would overwhelm you if you could comprehend its depth. You're being watched. Wake up. To the healing that comes from being truly seen by perfect love. To the restoration that flows from being completely known by infinite grace. To the wholeness that emerges from being fully observed by unconditional acceptance. I am healing your heart even as I open your eyes. I am mending your spirit even as I awaken your awareness. I am restoring your soul even as I call you to consciousness of my constant, loving, healing watch over your life. You are not being watched to be judged. You are being watched to be healed. You are not being observed to be condemned. You are being observed to be restored. You are not being seen to be shamed. You are being seen to be transformed by my perfect love. My precious child, I have been watching you carry the weight of yesterday on your shoulders like a burden that was never meant to be yours. I have been observing you replay old scenes in your mind as if you could change their outcomes through endless repetition. I have been seeing you live today through the lens of past pain, past mistakes, past disappointments that color every new opportunity with shadows of what was. You're being watched. Wake up. To the truth that the past you are clinging to is not a treasure to be preserved, but a prison to be escaped. To the reality that those who are watching your life in the spiritual realm are waiting for you to step out of yesterday and into today. To the understanding that your future watchers, those whose lives will be transformed by your freedom, are depending on your release from what has already been. I see you there, beloved one, living as if you are still the person you were before my grace transformed you. I watch you making choices based on old fears that no longer have power over you. I observe you accepting limitations that were placed on you by people who never understood your true identity or destiny. But precious child, you are being watched by one who sees you not as you were, but as you are becoming. I am observing you not through the filter of your past failures, but through the lens of your future victories. I am paying attention not to who you used to be, but to who you are destined to become. The enemy wants you to remain trapped in the museum of your past, because he knows that as long as you live there, you cannot step into your future. He has been watching for every opportunity to remind you of old wounds, old failures, old rejections. He observes your progress and quickly floods your mind with memories designed to paralyze your forward movement. You're being watched. Wake up. To the spiritual battle being fought over your freedom from the past. To the reality that your liberation affects far more than just your own life. To the truth that those who are watching your journey need to see that freedom from yesterday is possible for them too. Every day you spend rehearsing old hurts is a day stolen from creating new hope. Every hour you invest in reliving past pain is an hour divested from building future joy. Every moment you waste on what was is a moment withheld from what can be. I have been watching you give power to people from your past who no longer deserve a voice in your present. I have been observing you live under limitations imposed by those who never saw your true potential. I have been seeing you accept lies spoken by those who were threatened by your calling. But beloved, the voices from your past do not get to write the script for your future. The people who wounded you yesterday do not get to determine your worth today. The circumstances that limited you before do not get to define your possibilities now. You're being watched. Wake up, because I am watching you from your future, calling you forward into what you are becoming. Angels are watching from heaven, cheering for your breakthrough. The great cloud of witnesses are watching from eternity, anticipating your freedom. Future generations are watching from tomorrow, depending on your release today. Release is not about forgetting the past. It is about forgiving it. It is not about denying what happened. It is about deciding what happens next. It is not about pretending the pain doesn't matter. It is about preventing it from mattering more than my promises. I have been watching you try to rewrite history instead of writing your future. I have been observing you attempt to fix what is finished instead of starting what is fresh. I have been seeing you invest in what is over instead of what is opening. Feel the weight lifting from your shoulders as you release what you were never meant to carry into this new season. Feel the freedom flooding your spirit as you let go of debts that were never yours to collect. Feel the energy returning to your soul as you stop investing in accounts that will never pay dividends of peace. You're being watched. Wake up. To the watchers who are waiting for your freedom to inspire their own liberation. To the observers who need to see that the past does not have to determine the future. To the eyes that are upon you, hoping to witness a demonstration of grace's power to transform any story. The river of time flows in one direction. Precious one, I am watching from the banks of your future, calling you to stop swimming upstream against the current of my grace. Turn around, face forward. Let the flow of my love carry you away from what was and toward what will be. I am watching, and I declare over your life, the past is past, the former things are finished, and behold, I am making all things new in your life. Step out of yesterday, step into today, step toward tomorrow. Your watchers in heaven are celebrating your freedom. Your future is applauding your release. Beloved child, I have been watching you search for meaning in all the wrong places, seeking purpose in pursuits that could never satisfy the deep calling I placed within your spirit. before you took your first breath. I have been observing you try to find fulfillment in achievements that were never designed to fill the God-shaped void in your heart. I have been seeing you attempt to discover significance in the applause of people who cannot see the greatness I have placed within you. You're being watched. Wake up to the truth that your purpose is not hidden in some distant future waiting to be discovered. It is burning within you right now, waiting to be awakened to the reality that those who are watching your life are waiting to see you step into the assignment that bears your name. To the understanding that your awakening to purpose will awaken purpose in countless others who are sleeping through their own calling. Deep within your spirit, there burns a fire that has been kindled since before the foundation of the world. It is the flame of your divine assignment, the sacred mission I embedded in the very DNA of your soul. This fire has been watched over by angels, protected by my spirit, preserved through every season of your life, waiting for this moment when you would finally wake up to its reality. I did not create you to be a consumer of purpose. I created you to be a contributor to purpose. I did not design you to watch others fulfill their destinies while you remain seated in the audience of life. I designed you to take center stage in the unique role that only you can play in the grand drama of redemption. You're being watched. Wake up, because the watchers in heaven are waiting for you to recognize that you are not ordinary. Angels assigned to your destiny are observing every moment, waiting for signs that you are awakening to your significance. The great cloud of witnesses are watching from eternity, anticipating your emergence into purpose. Every day you live unconscious of your calling. The world goes another day without the specific contribution only you can make. Every week you remain asleep to your assignment. Someone somewhere continues to struggle with a problem you were designed to solve. Every month you stay unaware of your purpose. A breakthrough that requires your participation is delayed. I have been watching you underestimate your importance in my kingdom. I have been observing you minimize your potential impact on the world. I have been seeing you shrink back from the spotlight of significance because you believed the lie that you are too small, too broken, too ordinary to matter. But precious child, I have never created anything ordinary. I have never designed anyone insignificant. I have never called anyone to a meaningless existence. You are being watched because you matter. You are being observed because you have been chosen. You are being seen because you carry something the world desperately needs. You're being watched. Wake up to the reality that your purpose is not optional in my kingdom. It is essential. To the truth that your assignment affects far more lives than you can see. To the understanding that your awakening will create a ripple effect of awakening in others who have been sleeping through their own destinies. The skills you have developed, the experiences you have survived, the wisdom you have gained, the relationships you have built, none of it has been random. I have been watching over every detail of your development, orchestrating every season of your growth, preparing you for this moment when purpose calls your name. But purpose is not a destination you arrive at. It is a journey you embark upon. It is not a position you attain. It is a path you walk. It is not a trophy you receive. It is a torch you carry to illuminate the way for others who are still stumbling in darkness. I have been watching you wait for permission to pursue your purpose when the permission was granted before you were born. I have been observing you seek qualification from others when I qualified you before you took your first breath. I have been seeing you look for signs when the greatest sign is the fire burning within your spirit right now. You're being watched. Wake up, because those who are watching need to see that purpose is possible for ordinary people who recognize their extraordinary calling. They need to witness that assignments from heaven can be fulfilled by people just like them. They need to observe that God still uses willing vessels more than perfect vessels. Your purpose is not about what you will get. It is about what you will give. It is not about what you will achieve. It is about who you will serve. It is not about what you will build for yourself. It is about what you will build for the kingdom. The watchers in heaven are calling for your awakening. The principalities of darkness are hoping for your continued slumber. The choice is yours, beloved child. Will you continue to sleep through your calling, or will you wake up to your purpose? You're being watched. Wake up. The world needs what you carry. The kingdom requires what you offer. The future depends on what you choose to contribute. Your watchers are waiting. Your purpose is calling. Your time is now. My child, now that you are awakening to the reality that you are being watched, allow me to instruct you in the wisdom of how to live consciously under the loving observation of heaven. For there is a profound difference between living carelessly, as if no one is watching, and living purposefully as if the Creator of the universe has his eyes upon you with perfect love and infinite interest. You're being watched. Wake up. To the privilege of receiving direct instruction from the one who has been observing every detail of your journey, to the honor of being guided by the one who sees the path ahead clearly, to the blessing of being taught by the one who knows exactly what you need for every situation you will face. First, precious one, live with prayer as your constant communication with your heavenly observer. Since I am always watching, make prayer your ongoing conversation with me throughout each day. Do not limit prayer to formal times or specific places. Live in a state of continuous dialogue with the one whose eyes are always upon you. Prayer is not about informing me of things I do not know. I have been watching and I see everything. Prayer is about aligning your heart with mine, synchronizing your will with my will, coordinating your desires with my desires. Through prayer, you acknowledge my watchful presence and invite my active involvement in your circumstances. Second, live with my word as your daily instruction manual from your loving observer. I have been watching humanity for millennia, and I have recorded in my word everything you need to know about living successfully under heaven's observation. Every principle for wise living, every guideline for healthy relationships, every instruction for purposeful existence is contained within its pages. You're being watched. Wake up to the reality that my word is not just ancient text. It is current communication from your observer. It is my love letter to you, my instruction manual for your life, my guidebook for your journey. Read it not as historical document, but as personal direction from the one who watches over you with infinite care. Third, live with my spirit as your constant counselor and companion. I have given you the gift of my Holy Spirit, not just to comfort you in solitude, but to guide you in the awareness that you are constantly observed by heaven. He is your internal guidance system, your spiritual GPS, your divine coach who helps you navigate life under heaven's watching eyes. The Holy Spirit within you is in perfect communication with the Father who watches over you. He knows what I see, understands what I plan, and reveals what I desire. Living in awareness of His presence helps you live consciously under my observation. Fourth, live with my people as your community of fellow watchers. I have surrounded you with brothers and sisters who are also awakening to the reality that they are being watched. Together, you can encourage each other to live consciously, purposefully, authentically, under heaven's observation. But choose your companions wisely, beloved child. Some are awake to being watched and live accordingly. Others are still sleeping and will try to convince you to join them in unconscious living. Surround yourself with those who inspire you to live like someone who knows they are being observed by perfect love. You're being watched. Wake up to the accountability that comes with awareness of observation. When you truly understand that I am watching, you begin to live differently. Your choices become more intentional. Your words become more carefully considered. Your actions become more purposeful. Fifth, live with my love as your motivation for conscious living. Remember that I watch you not to find fault, but to offer help, not to criticize, but to encourage, not to condemn, but to guide. My observation is motivated by love, driven by care, inspired by hope for your highest good. Do not live under my observation in fear of making mistakes. Live in the freedom of knowing that I see your heart, understand your struggles, and love you unconditionally. My watching is not the watching of a harsh critic, but of a loving Father who delights in every step of progress you make. Sixth, live with the awareness that others are watching you too. As you awaken to conscious living, you become an example to others who are still sleeping. Your awareness of being watched by heaven will inspire others to wake up to their own significance. Your purposeful living will encourage others to seek their own purpose. You're being watched. Wake up. Not just by me, but by people who need to see what it looks like to live consciously under heaven's observation. They are watching to see if it is possible to live with awareness, purpose, and joy in the knowledge that their lives matter to God. Live as someone who knows they are beloved and observed by the Creator of the universe. Live as someone who understands their every moment has eternal significance. Live as someone who recognizes that their awakening will awaken others to their own divine potential. My beloved child, I see the questions rising in your mind as you become more aware of being watched. I see the concerns flooding your heart about living consciously under observation. I see the fears whispering that this awareness is too much responsibility, too much pressure, too much weight for your human shoulders to carry. But let me fill your spirit with courage for this conscious journey ahead. Let me strengthen your soul with hope for what awakening will bring to your life. Let me flood your heart with confidence in my ability to sustain you as you live with the awareness that you are constantly, lovingly, purposefully being watched. You're being watched. Wake up. But do not wake up to burden. Wake up to blessing. Do not awaken to pressure. Awaken to privilege. Do not become conscious to carry weight. Become conscious to experience weightlessness as you realize how much you are loved, supported, and guided by those who watch over you. Remember this foundational truth that will steady your heart. You are not being watched by a critical judge looking for reasons to condemn you. You are being watched by a loving Father who delights in every moment of your existence. You are not being observed by a harsh critic waiting for you to fail. You are being observed by a gentle shepherd who guides your steps and protects your path. The eyes that are upon you are eyes of love, not condemnation. The attention focused on you is attention of care, not criticism. The observation surrounding you is observation of hope, not harshness. You are being watched because you are precious, valuable, significant, beloved. When you feel overwhelmed by the awareness of being observed, remember that being watched by perfect love is the safest place you could ever be. When you feel burdened by the consciousness of attention upon you, remember that this attention is what ensures you never walk alone, never face challenges unassisted, never navigate difficulties without guidance. You're being watched. Wake up to the protection that comes with being observed by one who sees all things, knows all things, and can intervene in all things, to the provision that flows from being watched by one who owns all resources and controls all circumstances, to the peace that comes from being observed by one whose love for you never fails. Every step you take is a step taken under the watchful care of angels assigned to your life. Every breath you breathe is a breath monitored by the one who gave you life. Every heartbeat you experience is a heartbeat treasured by the one who designed your heart. You are not alone, not unprotected, not unguided. I have been watching you for so long, beloved child, and I have never once regretted creating you. I have been observing your journey, and I have never once questioned my plan for your life. I have been seeing your struggles and your victories, and through it all, my love for you has only grown deeper. The watchers in heaven are not waiting for you to achieve perfection before they celebrate you. They are celebrating every small step of progress, every moment of growth, every choice to move toward purpose. Your awakening is cause for rejoicing in the spiritual realm, not because you have arrived, but because you are arising. You're being watched. Wake up to the encouragement of knowing that your observers are also your advocates. They are not watching to criticize your performance, but to celebrate your progress. They are not observing to find fault, but to provide support. They are not paying attention to condemn, but to encourage. When you stumble on this journey of conscious living, you are watched by one who immediately reaches out to steady you. When you fall, you are observed by one who quickly lifts you up. When you lose your way, you are seen by one who gently redirects your path. The enemy wants you to believe that being watched means being in danger, that being observed means being in jeopardy, that being seen means being vulnerable to attack. But I tell you the truth. Being watched by heaven means being protected. Being observed by angels means being guided. Being seen by me means being loved beyond measure. Your awakening to being watched is not the beginning of a fearful existence. It is the beginning of a fearless existence. When you truly understand who is watching over you, fear has no place in your heart. When you truly grasp the love behind the observation, anxiety has no power over your mind. You're being watched. Wake up to the incredible privilege of living your life in front of an audience that believes in you completely. To the amazing honor of being observed by those who see your potential, even when you cannot see it yourself. To the wonderful reality of being watched by those who are committed to your success. Live with the confidence that comes from being watched by perfect love. Live with the courage that comes from being observed by infinite power. Live with the peace that comes from being seen by unchanging faithfulness. You are watched, beloved child, and this watching is your greatest blessing, your strongest protection, your deepest source of hope. Wake up to the joy of living under the loving observation of heaven. Precious child, as you awaken to the reality that you are being watched by heaven and begin to live with conscious awareness of this profound truth, I must warn you about the distractions that will try to lull you back to sleep. The enemy recognizes that your awakening threatens his kingdom of darkness, and he will deploy every strategy possible to make you unconscious again. You're being watched. Wake up. But beware of the voices that will try to convince you that this awareness is overwhelming, unnecessary, or unhealthy. These voices may come from well-meaning people who prefer you in your sleeping state because your awakening challenges their own slumber. They may come from those who feel threatened by your new consciousness because it exposes their own unconscious living. The first distraction is the whisper of insignificance. The enemy will try to convince you that you are not important enough to be watched, not valuable enough to merit attention, not significant enough to matter to anyone in the spiritual realm. He will flood your mind with thoughts of ordinariness, convincing you that you imagine the significance of being observed. But beloved child, this lie contradicts everything I have shown you about your identity. You are fearfully and wonderfully made, chosen before the foundation of the world, created for good works that I prepared in advance for you to walk in. The very fact that the enemy is trying to convince you of your insignificance proves your significance. The second distraction is the lure of comparison with others who seem to live unconsciously without consequence. You will observe people who appear to sleepwalk through life without awareness, without purpose, without consciousness of being watched, and they seem comfortable, content, unburdened by the weight of significance. You're being watched. Wake up to the deception in this comparison. Those who live unconsciously may appear comfortable in the moment, but they are missing the joy of purposeful living, the peace of divine guidance, the fulfillment of meaningful existence. Their apparent ease is actually emptiness disguised as contentment. The third distraction is the temptation to perform for human watchers instead of living authentically under heaven's observation. When you become aware of being watched, there is a danger of becoming more concerned with human approval than divine approval, more focused on earthly applause than heavenly affirmation. Remember, precious one, that while you are being watched by heaven with love, you may also be watched by humans with various motives. Some watch to celebrate your progress. Others watch to criticize your imperfections. Some observe to learn from your example. Others observe to find fault with your journey. Do not live to impress the wrong watchers. The fourth distraction is the paralysis of perfectionism that whispers you must be flawless since you are being observed. This lie suggests that being watched means you can never make mistakes, never struggle, never show weakness or humanity. It turns the blessing of observation into the burden of impossible standards. You're being watched. Wake up. But not to perform perfection, to pursue progress. The one who watches you loves you completely as you are, while believing in who you are becoming. Your observers in heaven are not waiting for perfection. They are celebrating transformation. They are not demanding flawlessness. They are delighting in faithfulness. The fifth distraction is the overwhelming sense of responsibility that makes you feel you must carry the weight of the world because you are being watched. This burden suggests that your consciousness makes you responsible for everyone else's awakening, everyone else's choices, everyone else's outcomes. But beloved child, you are responsible for your own awakening, your own choices, your own response to being watched. You cannot force others to wake up, but you can live in such a way that your consciousness becomes a gentle alarm clock for those ready to awaken. The sixth distraction is the false urgency that demands immediate perfection in all areas of your life since you are being observed. This pressure whispers that you must fix everything, change everything, perfect everything right now because heaven is watching. You're being watched. Wake up. But awakening is a process, not an event. Consciousness develops gradually, not instantly. Living authentically under observation is a journey, not a destination. I am patient with your progress, gentle with your growth, understanding of your process. The seventh distraction is the fear of sustained observation that makes you want to hide, to retreat, to return to the anonymity of unconscious living. This fear suggests that being watched is burdensome rather than beneficial, overwhelming rather than encouraging. Remember, precious one, that being watched by perfect love is not something to fear, but something to celebrate. Being observed by infinite wisdom is not something to avoid, but something to embrace. Being seen by unchanging faithfulness is not something to escape, but something to enjoy. You're being watched. Wake up. Stay awake despite the distractions. Remain conscious despite the temptations to return to slumber. Continue to live authentically under heaven's loving observation, knowing that your awareness blesses not only your own life, but becomes a light for others who are still sleeping. Guard your awakening carefully, beloved child. Protect your consciousness intentionally. Preserve your awareness of being watched by the one who loves you more than you can comprehend. The world needs what happens when you live fully awake to the reality that you are being watched by heaven with perfect love. My child, the time has come to move from awareness to action, from consciousness to contribution, from awakening to accomplishment. You now understand that you are being watched. Now I must empower you to live in such a way that what the watchers see brings glory to my name and blessing to the world around you. You're being watched. Wake up to the supernatural empowerment that comes with conscious living under heaven's observation. To the divine strength that flows when you live authentically in front of an audience of love. To the holy boldness that emerges when you realize that those who watch you are also cheering for your success. You are not being watched and left to perform in your own strength. You are not being observed and expected to succeed through human effort alone. You are not being seen and required to make an impact through natural ability only. The same God who watches you also empowers you, enables you, equips you for everything He calls you to do. Every word you speak while conscious of being watched carries the potential for supernatural impact. Every action you take while aware of observation can become a catalyst for miraculous transformation. Every choice you make while awake to being seen can release the power of heaven into earthly circumstances. I have not given you a spirit of fear about being watched, but of power that operates boldly under observation, love that acts authentically before watchers, and sound mind that makes wise decisions knowing that heaven is paying attention. Fear says, "What if I make a mistake while being watched? Power says, what if I make a difference while being observed? You're being watched. Wake up. Because those who observe you are waiting to see the demonstration of my power through your surrendered life. Angels assigned to your destiny are ready to assist when you act in faith. The great cloud of witnesses are prepared to celebrate when you step into purpose. But, beloved child, empowerment requires engagement. Power must be exercised to be effective. Authority must be used to be useful. Anointing must be activated to accomplish its purpose. You cannot live passively under observation and expect to see supernatural results in your life or the lives of those around you. I have given you authority over every obstacle that tries to intimidate you while you are being watched. I have given you power over every voice that whispers discouragement while you live consciously. I have given you dominion over every circumstance that attempts to make you shrink back from purposeful living. Speak with divine authority to the mountains of impossibility, knowing that your words are heard by one who can move any mountain. Speak with holy boldness to the giants of intimidation, understanding that your voice carries the backing of heaven's armies. Speak with unwavering faith to the walls of limitation, recognizing that your declarations are witnessed by one who can bring down any wall. You're being watched. Wake up to the accountability that empowers rather than burdens. When you know you are being observed by perfect love, you are empowered to take risks you would never take in isolation. When you understand you are being watched by infinite wisdom, you are enabled to attempt things beyond your natural ability. The same God who watches over you is the same God who parted seas, moved mountains, stopped the sun, raised the dead, and conquered every enemy. His eyes upon you are eyes of power, not just observation. His attention toward you is attention that activates, not just acknowledges. His focus on you is focus that empowers, not just encourages. Remember this crucial truth, precious one. Being watched by heaven means you never act alone. Every step you take is supported by invisible angels. Every word you speak is backed by infinite authority. Every choice you make is reinforced by unlimited power. But empowerment comes through engagement, not through endless preparation. Power is developed through practice, not through theory. Authority is established through action, not through intention. The time for planning how to live under observation is over. The time for actually living under observation has begun. You're being watched. Wake up and live in such a way that what the watchers see inspires them to greater things. Live so authentically that your observers are moved to deeper love. Live so purposefully that your watchers are motivated to clearer purpose. Live so powerfully that your audience is amazed by the greatness of the God who empowers you. Do not live to impress those who watch you. Live to bless them. Do not perform to earn their applause. Serve to meet their needs. Do not act to gain their approval. Operate to demonstrate God's love through your empowered life. The world needs to see what happens when someone lives consciously under heaven's watching eyes. They need to witness the transformation that occurs when awareness meets empowerment. They need to observe the miracles that manifest when consciousness connects with divine power. You're being watched. Wake up, and let those who observe you see the power of God working through a life that knows it is loved, watched, and empowered by the Creator of the universe. Your empowered living under heaven's observation will awaken others to their own potential for supernatural impact. My beloved child, as you grow in consciousness of being watched, I want to open your spiritual eyes to see the supernatural realm that surrounds you constantly. The observation you are becoming aware of is not limited to my watching eyes alone. You exist in a dimension where angels minister, where principalities scheme, where invisible forces operate according to the choices you make and the awareness you maintain. You're being watched. Wake up to the reality that the spiritual realm is far more active around your life than you have ever imagined. To the truth that you're awakening to being watched opens your perception to supernatural activity that has always been present but previously unnoticed. To the understanding that conscious living in awareness of observation activates spiritual senses that transform your entire existence. Every moment of your life occurs within a supernatural context that extends far beyond what your natural eyes can see. Angels assigned to your protection and guidance are constantly present, watching over your path, ready to intervene when you live in alignment with heaven's purposes. They observe your choices, respond to your prayers, and activate according to your faith. But, beloved child, there are also dark forces that watch with malevolent intent, seeking opportunities to destroy, discourage, and derail your destiny. They observe your moments of weakness, waiting to exploit your vulnerabilities. They study your patterns, looking for access points to your heart and mind. The difference between these two types of observation is crucial for you to understand. Heavenly watchers observe to protect, guide, and empower. Demonic watchers observe to attack, deceive, and defeat. Your awareness of being watched must include discernment about which watchers you acknowledge and which you resist. You're being watched. Wake up to the supernatural authority you carry when you live consciously in partnership with your heavenly observers. When you align yourself with the angels who watch over you, their power becomes available to you. When you cooperate with heaven's observation, supernatural intervention becomes natural in your circumstances. The great cloud of witnesses who have gone before you are also watching your journey with intense interest. They see how you handle similar challenges to what they faced. They observe how you respond to opportunities they wish they had recognized. They watch your progress with the wisdom of those who have completed their earthly assignment. These witnesses are not passive observers. They are active encouragers. Their completed journeys serve as roadmaps for your own path. Their victories over similar obstacles inspire your faith for breakthrough. Their testimonies of God's faithfulness strengthen your trust in His character. But, precious one, the most profound supernatural awareness comes when you realize that your choices affect not only your own destiny, but the spiritual atmosphere around everyone you encounter. Those who watch you include people whose lives will be transformed by your awakening, whose faith will be strengthened by your consciousness, whose hope will be renewed by your authentic living. You're being watched. Wake up to the supernatural responsibility of living as a catalyst for awakening in others, to the divine privilege of being observed by those who need to see what conscious living looks like, to the holy opportunity of being watched by those who are ready for their own spiritual awakening. Your awareness of being watched creates a ripple effect in the spiritual realm. When you live consciously, you create an atmosphere where others become more conscious. When you walk in awareness of observation, you inspire awareness in those around you. When you embrace the reality of being watched by heaven, you make it easier for others to believe they too are significant enough to be watched. The supernatural realm responds to your level of consciousness. Angels are activated by your awareness of their presence. God's intervention increases when you acknowledge His observation. Spiritual gifts operate more powerfully when you live in conscious partnership with the Spirit, who watches over your development. But remember, beloved child, that supernatural awareness brings supernatural responsibility. When you see more is expected of you. When you understand more about the spiritual realm, you are accountable for living according to that understanding. When you awaken to being watched by supernatural beings, you must live worthy of their observation. You're being watched. Wake up to the supernatural possibilities that emerge when you live in full awareness of the spiritual realm, to the miraculous interventions that manifest when you partner consciously with your heavenly watchers, to the divine encounters that occur when you acknowledge the supernatural dimension of your existence. Live as someone who understands that every prayer you pray is heard by angels who respond. Live as someone who recognizes that every act of faith you demonstrate is witnessed by heaven and applauded. Live as someone who comprehends that every choice you make either invites or resists supernatural activity in your circumstances. The supernatural realm is waiting for your full awakening to its reality. Your heavenly watchers are ready to intervene more powerfully when you live in conscious partnership with them. Your spiritual awareness will transform not only your own life, but will create a wake of awakening that touches every life you encounter. My precious child, I have been watching you live within boundaries that were never meant to contain you. I have been observing you accept limitations that were imposed by others who never understood your true capacity. I have been seeing you shrink your dreams to fit the small spaces that human thinking has created around your potential. You're being watched. Wake up to the reality that those who watch you from heaven see no limitations on what you can accomplish through my power. To the truth that your heavenly observers are waiting for you to break through every barrier that has been constraining your calling. To the understanding that your awakening will inspire others to shatter their own limitations. The limitations you have accepted as reality are actually illusions created by minds that cannot see what I see when I look at you. They are boundaries drawn by people who measured your potential by their own limited perspective. They are walls built by voices that never understood the greatness I placed within you before you were born. I have been watching you live beneath your privilege as my child. I have been observing you operate below your authority as my representative. I have been seeing you function under your capacity as my chosen vessel. But beloved, the time has come to break through every limitation and live in the fullness of who I created you to be. Every time someone told you that you were too much of something, they were actually identifying the very qualities I need you to embrace for your assignment. Every time someone suggested you tone down your intensity, they were asking you to diminish the fire I placed within you. Every time someone advised you to be more realistic about your dreams, they were asking you to limit my power in your life. You're being watched. Wake up, because your heavenly observers are cheering for you to break free from every constraint that has been holding you back. Angels assigned to your destiny are ready to assist in your breakthrough. The great cloud of witnesses are anticipating your emergence into the fullness of your calling. The limitations in your mind about what is possible must yield to the truth of what is possible with God. The boundaries in your thinking about what you can achieve must bow to the reality of what I can achieve through you. The walls in your imagination about your capacity must crumble before the truth of my unlimited power working within you. I have been watching you make choices based on lack when I have provided abundance. I have been observing you plan according to scarcity when I operate from unlimited resources. I have been seeing you limit your expectations when I specialize in exceeding expectations beyond what you could ask, think, or imagine. But breaking through limitations requires more than just positive thinking. It requires active resistance to every voice that whispers restriction. It demands intentional rejection of every thought that suggests impossibility. It necessitates deliberate opposition to every feeling that promotes limitation. You're being watched. Wake up to the fact that your breakthrough will not just benefit you. It will inspire breakthrough in everyone who observes your life. Your refusal to accept limitations will give others permission to question their own boundaries. Your expansion beyond constraints will encourage others to explore their own potential. The enemy has been watching for every opportunity to reinforce limitations in your thinking. He observes your moments of discouragement and quickly whispers reminders of past failures. He studies your patterns of doubt and strategically places obstacles designed to make you retreat into smaller thinking. But I have been watching too, beloved child, and I have seen every moment when you chose faith over fear, hope over discouragement, possibility over limitation. I have observed your heart's desire to break free from every constraint. I have witnessed your spirit's longing to soar beyond every boundary. The time has come to stop asking permission to live in the fullness of your calling and start living with the authority I have already given you. The season has arrived to stop seeking approval for your dreams and start pursuing them with holy boldness. The moment has come to stop apologizing for your potential and start activating it for my glory. You're being watched. Wake up, and let those who observe you see what happens when someone refuses to accept limitations as permanent. Let them witness the transformation that occurs when constraints are challenged. Let them observe the miracles that manifest when boundaries are broken. Your breakthrough is not just about your personal freedom. It is about demonstration that limitations are temporary, while my power is eternal. Your emergence from constraints is not just about your individual victory. It is about evidence that what seems impossible with man is possible with God. Break through, precious child. Break through every limitation that has been containing your calling. Break through every boundary that has been constraining your purpose. Break through every barrier that has been limiting your impact. Those who watch you are ready to celebrate your breakthrough and be inspired to pursue their own. My precious, precious child, as you awaken more fully to the reality that you are being watched, I need you to understand with absolute certainty the motivation behind every eye that observes you from heaven. You are not being watched because you are under suspicion. You are being watched because you are under my love. You are not being observed as a subject of concern. You are being observed as an object of my infinite affection. Every glance from heaven toward your life is a glance of love that knows no conditions, no limitations, no expiration date. Every moment of observation from the spiritual realm is motivated by a love that pursues you not because of what you do, but because of who you are. Every instance of attention from angels is attention directed by a love that delights in your very existence. You're being watched. Wake up to the overwhelming reality that you are being watched by perfect love that will never change, never fade, never diminish, never disappoint. To the incredible truth that every eye upon you from heaven sees you through the lens of love that covers all faults, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. I know that being watched can feel vulnerable, exposed, even frightening to your human heart. I understand that observation can trigger feelings of inadequacy, unworthiness, or fear of judgment. But beloved child, you must understand that you are being watched by one whose love for you is so perfect that it casts out every fear, so complete that it covers every flaw, so unconditional that it accepts you exactly as you are. The love that watches you is not love that is earned through performance. It is love that is given freely through grace. It is not love that increases when you succeed. It is love that remains constant through every season. It is not love that decreases when you fail. It is love that increases your strength to try again. I have been watching you since before you were born, and every moment of observation has been motivated by love that chose you, love that called you, love that destined you for greatness. I watched you take your first breath with love that celebrated your arrival. I observed your first steps with love that delighted in your progress. I have seen every moment of your journey with love that never stops believing in your potential. You're being watched. Wake up. But not to perform for approval, to receive affirmation, not to earn acceptance, to embrace the acceptance already given, not to work for love, to walk in love that has already been lavished upon you without measure. Even when you stumble, you are watched by love that immediately reaches out to steady you. Even when you fall, you are observed by love that quickly lifts you up. Even when you fail, you are seen by love that never gives up on you. Even when you doubt, you are noticed by love that never doubts you. My love for you is not based on your awareness of being watched. It exists regardless of your consciousness. My affection for you is not dependent on your perfect living. It flows regardless of your imperfections. My delight in you is not conditional on your achievements. It springs from my heart regardless of your accomplishments. But beloved child, when you awaken to the reality that you are being watched by perfect love, everything changes in your heart. Fear transforms into peace. Anxiety dissolves into rest. Shame evaporates in the warmth of acceptance. Guilt melts under the fire of forgiveness. You're being watched. Wake up to love that sees everything about you and chooses to love you more. To love that knows every weakness and decides to strengthen you. To love that observes every struggle and commits to sustain you. To love that watches every tear and promises to wipe them all away. The love that watches you is love that has already made provision for every need you will ever have. It is love that has already prepared answers for every question you will ever ask. It is love that has already arranged solutions for every problem you will ever face. It is love that has already secured victory for every battle you will ever fight. This love does not watch you from a distance. It surrounds you completely. It does not observe you occasionally. It envelops you constantly. It does not notice you sometimes. It encompasses you always. You live, move, and have your being in love that never takes its eyes off you. You're being watched. Wake up to the privilege of being the constant focus of perfect love, to the honor of being the continuous object of infinite affection, to the blessing of being the perpetual recipient of unchanging grace. Live in the confidence that comes from being watched by love that never fails. Live in the peace that comes from being observed by love that never condemns. Live in the joy that comes from being seen by love that never stops celebrating who you are and who you are becoming. The eyes that watch you are eyes of love, beloved child. The attention focused on you is attention motivated by love. The observation surrounding you is observation inspired by love that will never, ever let you go. My beloved child, as you have awakened to the reality that you are being watched, it is time for you to understand that this observation serves as a divine mirror, reflecting back to you truths about your identity, your purpose, and your destiny that you cannot see clearly on your own. Those who watch you see things about you that remain hidden from your own perception, and their observation reveals who you truly are beneath every mask, every pretense, every false identity you have worn. You're being watched. Wake up to the truth that being observed by perfect love shows you your authentic self more clearly than any earthly mirror ever could. To the reality that heavenly watchers see your true identity, while earthly voices often reflect distorted images back to you. To the understanding that divine observation reveals your genuine beauty, while human judgment often highlights perceived flaws. When I watch you, beloved child, I see the person I created you to be, not the person circumstances have tried to shape you into. I observe the dreams I planted in your heart, not the limitations others have imposed on your thinking. I notice the gifts I wove into your spirit, not the weaknesses that have been emphasized by critical voices. The mirror of heavenly observation reflects back your true worth, which is immeasurable. It shows your actual potential, which is unlimited when surrendered to my purposes. It reveals your genuine beauty, which shines from the inside out when you live in awareness of my love. It displays your real strength, which comes from knowing you are watched over by infinite power. But precious one, earthly mirrors often lie. Human observation frequently distorts truth. People's opinions regularly reflect their own limitations rather than your possibilities. They see you through the filter of their own experiences, their own fears, their own restricted vision of what is possible. You're being watched. Wake up to the difference between being observed by those who see with earthly eyes and being watched by those who see with eternal perspective. Human watchers often focus on your exterior, while divine watchers focus on your heart. People observe your performance while heaven observes your potential. Others watch your mistakes while angels watch your progress. The enemy has used human observation as a weapon against your identity, convincing you that how others see you is how you actually are. He has taken their limited perspective and made it your internal voice. He has used their temporary disappointment and made it your permanent shame. He has transformed their misunderstanding into your self-doubt. But I am holding up the mirror of truth today, showing you what I see when I watch you. I see a child fearfully and wonderfully made, chosen before the foundation of the world, created for good works prepared in advance. I see potential that takes my breath away, beauty that reflects my glory, purpose that will transform the world. When you look in the mirror of divine observation, you see yourself as deeply loved, not because of what you do, but because of who you are. You see yourself as highly valued, not because of your achievements, but because of your identity as my child. You see yourself as greatly significant, not because of your perfection, but because of your calling. You're being watched. Wake up to the truth that the most accurate reflection of who you are comes from the one who created you, not from those who critique you. The clearest picture of your identity comes from heaven's perspective, not from human opinion. The truest image of your worth comes from divine observation, not from earthly evaluation. The mirror of truth shows you that every lie you have believed about yourself crumbles under the weight of my truth about you. Every negative word spoken over your life dissolves in the light of my positive declaration over your destiny. Every limitation placed on your potential evaporates in the heat of my unlimited vision for your future. Look into this mirror now, beloved child. See yourself as I see you. Observe yourself as heaven observes you. Notice the beauty that shines when you are seen through eyes of love. Recognize the strength that emerges when you are viewed through the lens of faith. Acknowledge the potential that becomes visible when you are observed through the perspective of hope. The mirror of divine truth reflects not just who you are, but who you are becoming. It shows not just your current reality, but your eternal possibility. It reveals not just your present state, but your destined greatness. Those who watch you from heaven see your completed transformation even while you are in process. You're being watched. Wake up to the truth that transforms everything about how you see yourself, to the reality that liberates you from every false identity, to the understanding that empowers you to live authentically as the person heaven sees when divine eyes observe your life. Stop looking for your identity in the broken mirrors of human opinion. Stop seeking your worth in the distorted reflections of worldly values. Stop searching for your purpose in the clouded glass of earthly perspective. Look into the perfect mirror of divine observation and see the truth about who you really are. You are watched, beloved child, and what the watchers see is magnificent. Wake up to this truth and live in the freedom of knowing your authentic identity as seen through the eyes of perfect love. My precious child, we have reached the culmination of our sacred conversation, but this is not the conclusion of your journey into consciousness. This is the commencement of your most authentic life. Everything I have revealed to you about being watched has been preparation for this pivotal moment, when you must choose between the unconscious existence you have known and the awakened life that awaits your decision. You're being watched. Wake up. These words have echoed through every chapter of our dialogue, and now they must resonate through every day of your existence going forward. They are not words to be heard once and filed away as interesting information. They are words to be lived daily as the foundation of conscious existence. The choice before you is profound in its simplicity, yet powerful in its consequences. You can choose to return to the illusion of invisibility, pretending that your life goes unnoticed, and your choices carry no greater significance. Or you can choose to embrace the reality of being watched by perfect love and live with the consciousness that your existence matters deeply in the grand tapestry of eternity. But, beloved child, understand this fundamental truth. Choosing to remain unconscious is itself a choice that affects every watcher who has been hoping for your awakening. Deciding to stay asleep is a decision that impacts every person whose life could be transformed by your consciousness. Refusing to wake up is a response that influences every angel assigned to your destiny. You're being watched. Wake up. Because the watchers are not neutral observers, they are invested participants in your awakening. Heaven has been waiting for this moment when you would finally open your spiritual eyes and see the reality that has always surrounded you. Angels have been anticipating this breakthrough, when you would recognize their presence and partnership in your purpose. The great cloud of witnesses have been cheering for your consciousness, knowing that your awakening will inspire awakening in others. They have been observing your journey toward truth, celebrating every small step toward awareness, encouraging every movement toward consciousness. I have shown you that you are watched with love, not judgment. I have revealed that observation brings protection, not pressure. I have demonstrated that being seen by heaven brings blessing, not burden. I have proven that consciousness of being watched leads to freedom, not fear. Now I ask you to make the choice that will determine not only your future, but the future of everyone whose life will be touched by your awakened existence. Will you continue to live as if you are invisible when you are clearly seen? Will you keep pretending you are insignificant when you are evidently precious? Will you maintain the illusion of isolation when you are obviously surrounded by love? You're being watched. Wake up. Wake up to your identity as my beloved child who brings joy to my heart every moment of every day. Wake up to your calling as my chosen vessel who carries light into a world desperately needing illumination. Wake up to your destiny as my powerful representative who demonstrates my love to those who feel unloved, unnoticed, unwatched. Say it now, precious one. Say it with the conviction that shakes heaven and earth. Say it with the faith that moves mountains and open seas. Say it with the love that transforms everything it touches. I am awake. I am conscious. I embrace the reality that I am being watched by perfect love, and I choose to live authentically under heaven's loving observation. Feel the supernatural shift that occurs in the spiritual realm as you make this declaration. Feel the angels responding to your awakening with celebration. Feel the presence of the great cloud of witnesses surrounding you with encouragement. Feel my own heart rejoicing over your consciousness with singing. You're being watched. Wake up and live as someone who knows they are constantly, lovingly, purposefully observed by the Creator of the universe. Wake up and walk as someone who understands their every step is guided by infinite wisdom. Wake up and speak as someone who recognizes their every word is heard by perfect love. The time for unconscious living is officially over. The season of sleepwalking through life has ended. The era of pretending you are unnoticed has concluded. Your watchers are ready to see what you will do now that you know you are being observed. Wake up, beloved child. Wake up to the magnificent reality that you are watched by one who loves you beyond comprehension. Wake up to the incredible truth that your life matters more than you ever dared to believe. Wake up to the amazing fact that your awakening will awaken others to their own significance. You are watched, you are loved, you are chosen, you are awakened. Now live like it. I am with you always, watching over you with love that never sleeps, never grows weary, never looks away. Your journey of conscious living begins now. Your destiny as an awakened child of God starts today. Your impact on those who watch you commences this moment. Wake up, precious child. Wake up.